Are your so-called longer-term habits driving you a little bit crazy? You just can't seem to stick to them no matter how hard you try? Well, let me tell you something. You're not alone. And let me tell you another thing. It's not you. It's definitely them. What tends to happen with these habits that you want to do once a month or once a quarter is that they end up falling into the I can't do this consistently bucket. And today we're going to unpack why that is. But before we do, if we haven't met yet, my name is Isabel, and on this channel we talk all about embracing your weird in order to build a better brand, business, and life. Daily and weekly habits are a little bit easier to stick to and maintain because they're always right there. But once a month or less, activities tend to cause a lot of frustration in us because we have these good intentions, but these good intentions are just not being met. The thing about these longer-term habits is that they're not actually habits. Spoiler alert, they're actually projects in disguise. In his book, Atomic Habits, which I highly recommend, by the way, if you haven't read it, go read it, James Clear says this in a very clear way when he says, if you want to master a habit, the key is to start with repetition, not perfection. You don't need to map out every feature of a new habit, you just need to practice it. The problem with these longer-term habits is that we don't get enough reps in to get the benefit of the brain turning it into an actual habit. The problem with treating something that isn't a habit as a habit is that it doesn't get done. The words we use matter. I say this a lot, and I truly mean it because it applies to every area of life. But in this case, when we call something that we want to do once a month a habit, we're just setting up ourselves for failure. Because usually, we don't plan out our habits. For example, if I want to get into the habit of going to get my nails done every month, that won't just happen. Right? I have to call, I have to get the appointment, I have to do things in order to get that done. It's a project, and we have to treat it like a project if we want to actually start doing them. I know it can sound unimportant or even downright silly to say that changing the word habit to project can make a difference, but changing the vocabulary we use does have an effect. Because one of the main characteristics of a habit is that it's something that gets repeated. And the fact is that things that happen once a month or once a quarter do not get repeated enough to be considered a habit. Again, James Clear in his book says this like this. Habit formation is the process by which a behavior becomes progressively more automatic through repetition. The more you repeat an activity, the more the structure of your brain changes to become efficient at that activity. Neuroscientists call this long-term potentiation, which refers to the strengthening of connections between neurons in the brain based on recent patterns of activity. Let's say you want to meditate for 10 minutes, 5 days a week, but you're only successful at it half of the time. In 1 year, you would have gotten in 130 reps. Now let's say that you want to get your nails done once a month, and you're 100% successful. In 1 year, you would have gotten in 12 reps. So being half successful at a daily habit, you'd still be getting 10 times more reps in than being 100% successful at a monthly habit. And that's the problem with these. It's that repetition is not repeated enough, even though that sounds redundant, to create the link in our brains that actually makes a habit and makes it automatic and makes our brain more efficient at doing it. If you're enjoying this video, please like and subscribe. And also, I want to know, is there any habit that you're now realizing is a project and that you're willing to turn into a project now that you're listening to this? Let me know down in the comments. So how do we treat these things like projects? There's 3 easy steps. Number 1, we list all of the activities that we have or the tasks that we have associated with this project in order to get it done. This is pretty self-explanatory. You make yourself a to-do list that you will attach to that project. And if you're using any sort of project management system, you will automatically set it to repeat so that you know what the tasks are that you have to do every month. For example, if I want to get my nails done, I have to make the appointment, which means I have to call to make the appointment. It means I have to figure out when I want that appointment to be, all of that kind of stuff. Number 2 is we block out the time to get it done. One of the reasons these habits don't get done is that they seem so small, and when you have a big span of time, like a month or a quarter, your brain is like, I can get that done anytime. And then it turns out that the quarter went by and you're like, oh, I actually didn't get that done anytime. Okay, then, let me try again next quarter, right? We need to block out the time. Because of the way our brain views time, a quarter or a month seems like super long, but it goes by super fast. So if we don't block out the time, whether that means making the appointment, whether that means adding it to your calendar so you can see it, if we don't block out the time, it will not get done. And the third thing, which is gonna seem like the least important bit, but is probably the most important bit, we celebrate accomplishing the habit, the project. I know this sounds silly and everyone says like, oh, celebrate every milestone. Truly, celebrate every milestone. Like, we're not saying it because it's fun or because I want to eat more chocolate every month. It's because your brain does not have the capacity to remember things that are ordinary. So what do I mean by this? If I asked you to remember a specific time in your life where you brushed your teeth, you would probably either remember like this morning, or you would remember a very specific time that you brushed your teeth, but because something happened that made it out of the ordinary. Whether it's like, oh, your tooth fell out, or you noticed that you had pain, or somebody called you to tell you you won $1 million, like whatever it is, something happened that made that particular teeth brushing memorable. Daily habits have the benefit of repetition. Monthly projects or quarterly projects need to have something that anchors them into your brain. And that is what we do with the celebration. We celebrate it because that anchors it into our brain, which makes it more likely for us to do it tomorrow, because to do it the next time. Sorry, not tomorrow, the next time, because our brain will associate the positive memory of celebration, whatever you did to celebrate, with doing that project. At the end of the day, we're all trying to grow and become the best version of ourselves. And anything that can support us on our way to get there is great. But sometimes we don't realize that what can support us the most are tiny tweaks, such as viewing what is actually a project as a project and stop calling it a habit. If you like this video, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. I make new videos every single Friday. And until then, stay wild, stay weird, and I'll see you in the next one.